guys.
Hey.
What's up?
Yeah. I don't know. I just watched Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah, it's a ripoff of Kung Fu Panda. Have you heard of it, Zach?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's it doesn't have Jack Black in it. It has who's the Jack who's like
Jack
Taylor
White?
Swift's. No, Jack White. Yeah, it has Jack White in it.
Okay.
The black stripes. The black stripes. He's the white stripes lead. I got like
We're getting a lot of
mixed up in my
yin
head.
yang going on right now.
Yeah, this the Black Keys. You gotta get those bands straight. The Black Keys, the White Stripes.
Okay.
Jack Black, Jack White. You know, Jack Black and Jack White did something like they made like a YouTube video together.
And Jablinski Games.
Oh yeah, because he's a big YouTuber now, right?
Yep. 4-point-something million subscribers.
Man, imagine.
Go subscribe to him right now.
That's the thing. We can't do that because, think about it. If I was already an actor, I could start a podcast and instantly it wouldn't even have to be good. It could be the worst podcast ever created, and there would be a fan base.
Like
would
that
be right
Barack
there.
Obama podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
It was okay.
it was all right. I'm sure he was, interesting enough, but like he's not gonna say anything that's like that interesting or controversial because he's not like politicians never do that.
Yeah.
If they were to make a podcast, it would be so formal and straight laced. It would just be boring because they can't be authentic. You know,
Amen.
that's one thing that's frustrated me because I would love to see like what politicians act like when they're not like speaking. That's
They should
the only way that we see them is when they're speaking. I want to see reality TV politicians. You know.
They should just release the next presidential debate on a streaming service.
The next presidential debate should be there was this idea that Joe Rogan would have both of the candidates on the podcast, and it'd sort of be like, no, I actually think that they just wanted him to be the moderator, but I think it would be better if Joe Rogan, they just got in. Maybe I'm not saying I would condone this, but maybe they smoke a little weed before they get started. Take the edge off a little bit.
Yeah, that would really make it less intense, huh?
I'm just kidding. I'm not for that, but it would make it interesting.
Yeah, but just imagine, like, it would just go straight to streaming or straight to YouTube instead of everybody staying up for it. It's like, hey, did you catch the new president? And they could make episodes, like season 1, season 2.
I think that every president should get a reality TV show, like Kardashian style.
Oh.
That's why I wanted Kanye to win the presidency, because I wanted Keeping Up with the Kardashians in the White House. And now Kanye didn't win, and they're getting divorced. So it's sort of all falling apart, my dream. But
Kanye West.
they could have done The Apprentice in the White House, and every time he fired, like
That's
Trump
true.
fired a lot of people.
That's
Like
true.
they could have done The Apprentice. Like I think we just need to admit that politics is like it's just a circus. So we need to fully embrace that by bringing in entertainment as part of it, and just take it a lot less seriously.
That would be really cool to, like, have a TV show about each president, like, to get to know their family, you know?
Yeah.
Like who is this person, you know?
Like what? Yeah,
What are they? What makes
what's
them
Hunter
tick?
Biden like? What's
Yeah.
whatever his other child
I
who's
forget.
less, has been less in the news probably. So I
Yeah.
don't know their name.
Yeah, like that would probably get really high ratings.
Oh,
Why
no,
has
that would
nobody
get
done
extra-
that yet?
See, that's the thing. People are too scared. They think it'll. But I think you just got to go for it because you just got to make money and do what the ratings will get. The ratings will get high.
That's what it's all about, I guess.
I don't really think like politicians should stop thinking about like getting reelected, and they should start thinking about like ratings.
What's their next career?
No,
Movie
they they should really take seriously all publicity is good publicity. Like that should be their
A
motto.
lot of people
They should-
do.
Yeah, there's definitely been some
Yeah.
recent president
Yeah.
who did. I think they did like go on a all publicity is good publicity motto.
Yeah, probably.
Like yeah. Well, it still might be today that there's a lot of politicians who are still like that, but they tend to be so like straight laced that it would be boring to hear them talk. To be honest, it's just they wouldn't say anything
I am
interesting.
a robot.
Yeah, I will say exactly what I need to say and nothing more.
The Movie Vault endorses no one.
No, yeah, we are not an endorsing podcast, and we're trying to.
We're a movie podcast.
We're a movie podcast, and we're not really trying to reveal any personal political beliefs.
That's why we're all over the place, and they're trying to figure it out. It's just getting more confused.
Yeah. I threw some criticisms into both sides there.
Yeah.
So we can just
both
really...
sides. There's so many sides, right?
Yeah. There should
sure.
be more sides.
Yeah,
That's
or
one of the
should there?
problems. No, we need to have so many sides that it's confusing. So then
it becomes a Rick and Morty
Then there's
episode.
like a dictatorship because there's too many sides, so one side just takes over all the other sides. That's what would happen, I think.
Like that sounds like a Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Where they create so many political parties that someone else takes over easily.
Yeah, I mean, when you have chaos, then
Magic.
you need an authoritarian. That's how it works.
Ben, who better than you?
Yeah, and that's what happened in the movie Kung Fu Panda. Not really at all, but I'm just trying to relate
We're
it
5
back.
minutes in. We haven't even said. All we said was Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, I misspoke. I like stuttered the title. But so Zach, this movie was directed by John Stevenson and John Osborne.
Ooh.
Maybe
Who are
actually, I
they?
don't think his name was John Osborne. I think I wrote that wrong. But whatever, his last name was
Johns.
Osborne, and it was released in the year 2008. Grossed I was shocked. $63.17 million on a $130 million.
Or 631.
631.
Yeah,
Yeah. Million. I mean, that's crazy. And a Rotten Tomatoes score of 87%, which is really high.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a watch.
Yeah, same, I guess. I mean,
It's not a top notch or a botch.
I was
it's a
just
watch.
thinking, like, what movie could we watch? And I told you, I was like, why don't we just watch Kung Fu Panda? Or no,
Yeah.
you said that maybe.
No, no.
I said DreamWorks.
He wanted DreamWorks, and he
Yeah.
mentioned Madagascar, and what was the other one? I mentioned How to Train Your Dragon. You said Madagascar.
So really, you did everything.
And then you said Shrek, but I was like, I'm Shrek'd out.
Yeah.
Unless we watch Shrek 2, but we can't review Shrek 2 because I've never seen Shrek 2, but I've seen Shrek like a couple times.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to get Shrek'd out. I really like the first Shrek.
I don't know. For some reason, I can't watch it too much, and it's been like a couple months since I watched it again, but
Oh, I thought you meant like last week.
no.
Oh.
But like to me, a couple months is like still too close for most
Okay.
movies, unless it's
Okay.
a really good movie.
Like
Like
No Country for Old Men.
yeah, no, but I watched that within like 3 or 4 months, so that's still
Yeah.
pretty good for me. But like same with Fight Club, it was like 3 months maybe,
Okay.
or 2 months at best.
But yeah,
can't
I don't
remember.
think it's a botch at all. I mean, the ratings say it's like
Yeah, they speak
631
for
million
themselves.
and 87%, which you thought that was higher. You think that it deserves lower?
No, I don't necessarily think it deserves lower because Rotten Tomatoes, I've explained this so many times, it just rates on how many people think it's good. And I think most people would watch this movie and be like, this is a good movie. You know?
It is.
They
They
wouldn't,
got a lot of good names.
they
in it.
wouldn't, I don't think it would shock anybody. Like the plot's a little bit predictable, as we'll get to here. But I don't
Stop.
know.
It's original and it's unpredictable.
Basically, so I'm going to explain the plot. It's basically just Star Wars, except for they reverse the roles at some points. So instead of the sun... No, it's not even role reversed, I don't think.
Well, so when
Well,
they're
Luke
fighting,
Skywalker, okay, is the son, and then his father is the bad guy, but it's like switched. The son is the bad guy, and the father is the good guy, but he's like an adopted father, so it's not even like a real father. There's a lot of adopted fathers in this movie.
But I was imagining them not as Anakin and Luke. I was imagining as Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Which is a more realistic relationship because, again...
We're talking about Master Shifu and Tai Lung.
Yeah. And Obi-Wan would be more like... yeah, that relationship is more of an adopted relationship, so it makes more sense.
Yeah, because like he taught him, he kind of turned evil, and he thinks it's his fault. That's kind of Obi-Wan's story arc.
Yeah.
He trained Anakin, and Anakin turns evil, and then
So then it's not even roles reversed from Star Wars. It's just an exact copy of Star Wars.
basically.
And so there's this panda named Po who is a noodle cook with his dad, and he wants to be a kung fu fighter. So he goes up to the mountain to see the kung fu to see who is going to be the dragon warrior.
Yep.
And he accidentally ends up in the middle with the 5 other people,
The Furious Five.
the Furious 5, and the old turtle named Oogway, I think,
Master
Oogway,
Mhm, hearing
picks
that title.
him and is like, there's no accidents. So everybody doesn't think that Poe should be the dude, especially not Tigress, the tiger, who thinks she should be the dragon warrior.
And to be honest, she probably should have been.
Yeah. Like, I don't know whether this
I would have
movie...
been so mad.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know what this movie's point was with the whole dragon warrior thing. We'll get to that, though. But he gets trained after... What's his name? Shifu?
Yep, Master Shifu. You're in the
Shifu.
title.
Is convinced by Master Oogway that he needs to believe in Poe, and then the Furious 5 leave to try to stop the what's the dude's name?
Tai Lung.
Tai Lung. See, this is why I need to have a list of names, and I never have it with me for some reason. So they're going to try to get Tai Lung, who's broken out of the most ridiculous prison ever created. That's supposed to be unbreakable. Cool. But rhinos are apparently too self-confident. Didn't take it seriously enough.
It's true. That
when Shifu said that they needed to do more, he was like, "Ha! Of course we don't." And that really bit him in the butt later.
Yeah. It really exploded his butt.
Yeah, it really did. And so I hope they learn from that. You know, the rhinos. When next time,
Rhino heaven.
Rhino heaven. Next time they have to make a prison for somebody.
Next time they make a prison, they have to make it even harder to get out of. When that thing was like the most elaborate.
Although
prison.
This movie relies a lot on destiny, so if it was destiny that was what caused Tai Lung, or whatever his name is, to get out of prison.
Yeah, you're right.
Tai Lung, whatever. I should stop. I'm just gonna call him Ty. So that way,
Tyrese. Call him Tyrese.
Tyrese. That way, I don't mess up the name again. It's gonna get annoying. Ty breaks out of the prison, so and he's on his route, and then he meets the Furious Five, and he completely destroys them. He plays with them a little bit, but he completely annihilates them with his nerve damage. And then Po comes down from the mountains like, I can't do this, and Shifu's like, oh, I guess I gotta fight him and die. And then he does, but he doesn't quite die because Ty has him in a chokehold, and then Po shows up. He's like, hey, look, dude, I got the scroll. Oh, by the way, they found out that Po's motivation to fight comes from food. Like, when he's motivated by food, it, like, takes away all his inhibition, so then he can do whatever kung fu moves are possible because I guess the food is just that much of a motivation for him, because they talk about how fat he is the entire movie.
But he's supposed to be. He's a panda.
He's a panda. Pandas are supposed to be fat. And it's important at the end of the fight because they're fighting over this scroll that he has. And Ty and Po get, tangle. And then eventually Ty tries to use this little nerve move. But Po, it's either because of the acupuncture from earlier.
I think it's because his nerves are so disconnected from his fat. I think that's what they were saying.
Yeah, like his fat, so then he can't manipulate his nerves to do things, and then eventually he uses his giant belly to bounce him, and I think
uses the wishy finger hold at the end.
Oh yeah, the wishy finger hold, and
that decimates him.
Yeah,
and the city.
And then it sort of ends, and he and Shifu meditate for a little bit, and then they go and get food, and that's it.
Skadoosh. Post-credit scene, they get shawarma.
Yep, and there's kung fu fighting. Kung fu fighting.
Oh.
It was strong as lightning.
Was this song out before this movie?
Oh, yeah, that was like an 80s song.
Just making sure. Okay.
I wonder who sang that song.
I probably sound really dumb asking that.
Carl Douglas. This guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it says The Soul of Kung Fu Fighting, 1974. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I never knew that. I always equated that song with this movie.
Well, right, because it's naturally I don't know why the kung fu fight, what inspired that song. I'm not really sure, but
yeah,
he
had a vision about Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, maybe it was Bruce Lee movies were popular at that time, but Bruce Lee passed away pretty in the mid or late 70s. He had a heart attack. It was crazy. Bruce Lee's so legendary. I was thinking of other kung fu movies I watched, and I watched this one called Enter the Dragon. That's a Bruce Lee movie. Pretty cool in terms of fight style, but the plot is not amazing. But I think that's because the fighting is supposed to be the main thing. Probably could say the same thing about this movie to some degree.
It's like the Street Fighters game.
No, it's not like that at all.
Well, I wish. Man can dream.
They're probably Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat's good. Not the movie.
I've not seen any of the Mortal Kombat or really played Mortal Kombat, but that's like Street Fighter, isn't it?
It's like Street Fighter, but some people have powers, and the deaths are really extremely violent.
Cool. That sounds like a good game.
It is fun.
Yeah, I know it probably is. And then, we do have a quote. So, Master Oogway says, "Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called a present.
And then he hits a tree and a peach falls into his hands.
I feel like Master Oogway was kind of cutesy. Like,
Aww.
all his sayings were like real. He had a sense of childlike wonder. I don't know.
He was also very wise at the same time.
Yeah, like there was this one quote that I don't know the exact thing. I couldn't find it, but it was like he told Shifu that the more he tried to avoid his destiny, it would bring it to him. And I thought about that because every movie that's about people who know their future is about how, because they know their future, what they're trying to avoid happening to them, they cause it to happen because they know. Like, it's like, what is, and then that comes back to predestination versus free will. What is supposed to happen happens, regardless of whether you know or not.
Do you know, Ben? Do you
I
know
don't. I don't really know whether that's how it works, though. I can't.
Do you know
really
your
prove
destiny?
That. I don't know my destiny.
I know mine.
What is your destiny, Zach?
To finish this podcast.
Yeah, I hope that my destiny is at least to finish this podcast. If this podcast is my destiny, I'm starting to get a little discouraged. Like,
why?
I don't know. I just feel like we should be more popular if this is our destiny.
We think too highly of ourselves.
Yeah, that's my real problem, though. Nobody, like, why would anybody want to hear what I have to say? Anyway, Zach, what problem is it within me that makes my voice want to be heard? Like,
maybe you're just, I don't know, insecure.
Do you think I'm insecure, or do you
kind of deep childhood trauma or something?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Something that's holding you back from knowing that you are a great person.
I feel like I might tend towards narcissism, but it's like a humble narcissism.
It's like a sweet, gentle narcissism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I think highly of myself, maybe too highly sometimes.
But I'm not gonna rub it in your face.
But I'm gonna tell you that I know I think highly of myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I acknowledge it to you.
Or we're just being hyper aware again.
Yeah. Maybe that's my biggest flaw and my biggest strength. I'm trying to be more vulnerable on this, you know. Like, maybe I just really need to open up a little bit.
Start crying a little bit here and there. You're right, though.
I listen to some podcasts that people get really, like, open about certain I mean, obviously you can't bar your whole soul, like, in public. Like,
you got to save it. Put it in pieces in different podcasts so you can make a lot more money.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, yeah, everyone would know too much about you. But, like, these sort of things are they're like general personality qualities that you have to spend your whole life discovering, you know? Like, sometimes you just don't know that there's a flaw in yourself until you're in a situation, and it might with another person, but it might not be even that person tells you about it, but you just realize you're like, I'm kind of, like, maybe I don't want to act like this. Maybe I need to change how I'm acting.
Maybe
and I didn't
myself.
realize it. Like, maybe people don't like me because I'm a jerk, you know?
You are. There you go. I'm joking.
I don't know whether he's joking. I saw Zach's eyes.
Yeah, my eyes. Ben can tell the truth from my eyes.
Anyway, this movie obviously brings out
a lot.
It makes you think through things and think through your emotions, because what it says is that the point of the movie is that you should believe in yourself. My question is, should I trust myself?
Should I trust my belief
in myself?
Should
I trust my instinctual? Is believing in myself really gonna be what makes life better for everyone else, or will it just make life better for me as an individual?
The Dragon Scroll said it did, so I believe that, and that's better than me.
That's true. I don't know.
A big old sea turtle or land turtle told me that I need to believe in myself. So, and then his student, a meerkat / chinchilla, told me that I have to believe in myself. So that's good enough for me. It's two different animals.
Yeah, that's true. I think as long as there's two different animals, as long as it's not just one animal, I think we're good.
Yeah,
like,
one of the animals was at least 100 years old.
Yeah,
he had no teeth.
I'm not 100 years old. I don't know that many people who are over 100 years old, so who can talk that rationally.
Yeah, I guess.
I met one lady who was like 107.
Not rational.
But she could talk.
Okay.
I mean, she probably mostly talked about, like, well, we asked her. So one of the things I asked her was, like, how much, like, what do you think about how much life has changed? Because she was born, like, in the 1920s.
Whoa.
So it's like
roaring 20s.
Like, life has changed so much. She probably didn't remember the 20s, but the 30s, you know, and then the 40s. and then there's all sorts of things that change. But I can't remember her answer. It's like maybe you don't. Life changes so slowly but so rapidly that we don't really notice how fast it changes. It just sort of happens in front of us, but when we look back, we're like, wow, that changed a lot. But in the moment, we don't really see it.
That's I remember one of his quotes. He said, "You have to let go of your delusion of control, because Shifu was trying to control everything, and Shifu's like, but what do you mean you can't control? What do you mean you can't control stuff? I just hit this peach and buried the seed, and a peach tree is gonna grow. But what's his name? Uruguay? What's the turtle? Old turtle guy says, but you can't decide what type of tree. If you want it to grow up as an apple tree, it won't happen. It will always be a peach tree. So there's some things that you can't control, of course, like the nature of things you can't control. But you might think you can control things, little things here and there, but you can't." Was that the quote you're trying to remember earlier?
But you know what you can control?
Car insurance?
Yes. There's one thing in life you can control, and that's whether you have insurance on your home and auto. And we're going to get it to you through Hedman Anglin Agency. So call this number. Stop your car if you're driving your car, because it's probably not insured, and you probably need to get it insured. And call 614-486-7300. That's 614-486-7300. And if you do contact them, make sure to tell them that Ben and Zach sent you. Go do it. I rudely interrupted Zach because I saw this perfect transition, and I also wanted to really talk about what he was saying, but I wanted to get through the ad to make sure that we did it. So I'm gonna say I make an executive decision. We're gonna talk about message before we talk about sentiment, because that's basically what we're talking about. So yeah, I think this is something that has really in my life recently I've been thinking about a lot. Is as I've observed more people, I see everyone has their own different sort of way of trying to like control their little life that they have. So a lot of times when people get in a career, they start, once they get established in the career, they start trying to make a little kingdom within their career and that they can control. So they'll do things and try to manipulate people. Maybe they don't think they're trying to manipulate people, but they are, and to do things a certain way so that they can feel like they're the ones who control what's going on, and it's maybe other people can make it harder on them, but ultimately they're the ones at the helm of their life, and if they go to the right college and get the right job and meet the right person to start a family with, then everything will be good because they have control over their life. And then I hear stories about people have things happen to them that just make no sense. They don't fit into the plan that they started for their life.
What?
They're just like traumatic circumstances that they could never have. I mean, what did they do in their life that would have caused this to happen to them, you know? Like, I mean, health is a big one. No matter how rich you are or how poor you are, you can still get cancer. You can still get some sort of terminal illness.
And it could be genetic. You can't control that.
There's no way to control that, and there's no way to stop it from happening. It just happens. Like you might be able to get rid of certain discomforts or needs from your life. Like you might never be hungry or thirsty. I mean, certainly you can. You will die if you don't have those things. So like if you can't control to some level getting those things, then you'll just die. But most of us never who listen to this podcast or have access to being able to listen to a podcast will never, experience a lot like true hunger and thirst, in the sense that we're actually like gonna die. So I don't know, I think that presents a really good point. Like the more that we try to control, often we make bigger messes because we're trying to control things on our own and we can't.
Yeah.
That's my rant.
Yeah, no, that's good. Very good. Yeah, I agree. I think my little kingdom is perfect, though.
Yeah, Zach, you have a nice little kingdom.
Yeah, there's nothing can disturb it. Not even cancer.
Nope. No, the thing is, well, I feel like there'd be other things that would bother you more than cancer.
Oh, okay. Like what? Like
I feel like for compared to most people, cancer wouldn't bother you a whole lot. Like I'm not. It would bother you.
No,
but
you're right. Probably not as much as I wouldn't freak out.
I'm trying to think of what would be something that would like really bother you.
Ooh.
Somebody else getting cancer? I'm not even
Someone
sure.
taking my someone like whenever like I have a snack and I just made a nice meal right in front of me, and someone eats something off of it. That would make me
Yes,
mad.
I have witnessed that almost happen a couple times.
Yes.
Uh,
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
I wasn't even thinking of that. I came home.
You said that, and I was like, "Oh, yep, that would really bother you."
I was coming back from work, and I had one of my friends make me 7 cookies, and then I was about to go eat them by myself in my room, but then one of my other friends took a handful of those cookies and shoved them in his mouth, and
Zach was pretty upset.
I had it.
like 'cause most of the time Zach keeps a pretty level head, but he looked a little angry in the moment, you know.
I'm telling you,
he showed a little emotion.
The most traumatic experience I've ever had involved a cookie when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell a story. It's too traumatic.
This story might have set the course of Zach's life. Truly. But we're not going to tell it.
It's another story.
Sentimentally, I thought I'm just mostly on the I like it, you know.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I remember relating to Poe a lot more when I was younger, but a lot has changed since then, and I don't really like him as much now.
You're not as goofy of a person, maybe.
Yeah,
you've like sort of become.
I probably wasn't when I was younger either.
When younger Zach was has kind of this like quirky goofiness to him. You still do, but like
maybe
you
might be thinking awkward.
Maybe just yeah. No, you shared the awkwardness with Poe.
That's true.
But probably a lot. That's probably why it resonated with kids a lot, because being a kid can be really awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
Being an adult can be kind of awkward sometimes, but like this.
Kids and adults, they're the same.
Yeah, we never really grow up, do we?
Yeah, kids, they figure out how to put blocks in a little box, but when you're an adult, you're trying to figure out why your wife's mad at you when you just like came home late and didn't text her, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like 2 simple things. All right, I don't know who I just affected out there, but go text your wife.
Yeah, if you're thinking about think about your marriage and your relationship, you know?
Yeah.
Text them. Yeah.
Text your significant other.
Be like, I'm listening to the podcast right now, but I really love you.
Yeah.
It'll help. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It'll help.
It sure will.
So character arcs. I'm gonna just skip over plot. I'm not even doing it.
Yeah, because the thing about character arcs is like, Poe's was okay. He started to believe in himself. He's not meek. He's very insecure in the beginning because he's like, oh, you guys are so great and I'm so terrible.
There's layers to him because he's confident. Well, he just can't stop talking. So that seems like he's confident or naive to like his own sort of weaknesses, because it seems like he mostly just reacts to trying to be the goofy guy.
And the only time you actually see him get upset is when Master Shifu actually wants to train him.
Yeah.
And he's like, how can I defeat Tai Lung, blah, blah, blah. And
it's like actually a serious thing.
Yeah, like stakes are coming out. So he kind of has to go through that, so he gets a little bit angry. But mainly he's just like reacting as the funny guy, even though these are his idols that he's seeing in real life, and he still reacts like funny.
I think this is a real kind of person that I've interacted with. Like the kind of person who like shields all of their insecurities by being funny. Like that's a lot of comedians maybe are like that. Yeah, like they're actually really sensitive people, but they're used to, or they sort of leverage people making fun of them to their advantage, so that like it's sort of like self-deprecating, but it's also like, oh, then I can be funny, and that can be my confidence
like
thing.
Kevin Hart?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know enough about Kevin Hart.
Because he's short.
He's short, so maybe there are some like lack of confidence there. But it's like the lack of confidence turns into some other kind of actual confidence, and it's like it's a little bit confusing to figure out what's actually going on.
And that's what they want.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I think
it's their little kingdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They can play it off. It might actually hurt them, but they can play it off in a way that makes people sort of like them in a way. Okay. But then they might always wonder, do people like me for who I am, or do they like me because I make them laugh?
I like them because they make me laugh. I don't really care about them. I'm going to be honest. I'm a viewer, so I can speak from experience.
I view interacting with people as purely entertainment.
All right. What's next? Cinematography.
Let's see.
It's okay.
It's pretty. I mean,
there was a good cherry blossom scene.
yeah, and I think some of the fighting sequences were kind of cool with the slow mo, and that it looked like a sort of an action movie. But they can do things with animation that they can't do in like live action movies, and make them.
Oh
look
yeah,
kinda
like
cool.
the fight. Well, that's choreography. Let's just skip. Choreography, I think, was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I think it was the best part of this movie for me. Like all the fight scenes, all the training scenes.
they're way cooler than any actual kung fu movie could be because they're animals, so they can all have different techniques than humans, and they can like, I mean, there's so many things that they would never be able to actually film if it was
Like,
not animated.
They
Like,
were fighting with chopsticks.
Yeah.
and that was amazing.
and like the scene where he's on the stilts and he's just switching around
Yeah.
the bowls, like that would never be able to happen, but they can do it because it's animated, so that's really cool.
But like they were like Master Shifu, the tiny little thing was like flipping people over, and like spinning Po around, and it was I don't know.
because
the
kung
fights were
fu,
great.
because kung fu,
Yeah,
kung fu can do that.
it makes sense.
if you really know it.
It just makes sense.
I wonder how respectful this movie is to actual kung fu. I feel like it doesn't act like the people who wrote this movie have no idea what
Well,
real
they
kung fu
did
is.
take kung fu and put a panda in it, so
I guess the bar for being respectful to the actual art of kung fu is probably not very high for this movie.
yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just if you just have fun with it and don't take it too seriously, I don't think there's really much harm that's done. Like, in
It's
my
like a movie podcast.
my personal
movie,
opinion, yeah.
and it's a panda. That would be
Like,
disrespectful.
Yeah, if somebody made a movie podcast or movie that was like totally making fun of movie podcasters, I'd probably just be like, oh yeah, it's so accurate, you know.
We'd rate it really high, though.
Yeah, actually, that would be a really
To hide our
profound.
insecurities.
I would find a lot of parallels to my own life in that movie, and it would probably be one of my favorite movies because of that.
Of course you would, and then you'd rate it high to hide your insecurities and build your little kingdom.
Yeah, the movie podcast is my own little kingdom that I can convince people that I'm intelligent because of the way that I analyze movies. You know,
You're in control, man.
I'm in control, and it's hard for them to argue with me because I can say I have hours logged to podcasting. Like, what do you have? Oh, you've never done a podcast about a movie?
Well,
I don't know. Maybe I know more about movies than you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I guess maybe I don't know.
Maybe you do.
Although the only thing about it is that I have to, acknowledge that you don't really have to do that much to start a podcast. But I don't like acknowledging that too much.
Although we have time. Time is definitely one of them because we put
Yeah.
in a lot of time.
We do. Maybe we could put in more time, but we do put in a lot of time.
Yeah.
We put in a lot of
Cumulatively.
forsaking comfort of our warm beds and staying up late.
It's true. It's always late.
But we would do that anyway.
We
so
should do it
that's
in the
thing.
mornings from now on. That'd be fun.
That would be actually fun. Yeah, but actually, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Let's see. Acting. Oh yeah, everyone's good. Everyone's good. Dustin
Jack
Hoffman.
Black. What is it? Jackie Chan plays Monkey. Seth Rogen plays Mantis.
Lucy Liu, I think, plays.
Lucy Liu plays Tigress?
I think.
Really?
Let's see.
Hold on.
She plays somebody.
Quick Wikipedia search.
No, Angelina Jolie. She plays
Oh,
Viper.
Angelina
Lucy.
Jolie. Oh, and then Lucy Liu's Viper. David Cross is Crane. Jackie Chan is Monkey.
Oh, he's in Arrested. Oh, this is that guy.
Yeah, he's from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he was the really goofy guy, right, in Arrested Development.
Yeah, Tobias
And
Funke.
then
Who was your Uruguay?
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Mr. Ping was played by James Hong. That's the adoptive father. And then
He's in what is he in?
Randall Duck Kim. He doesn't have many things in his Wikipedia article, but it looks like he's from. Wow, he's been in a lot of movies though. He was in John Wick.
He just apparently doesn't want people to know who he is.
Maybe there's just he was the key maker in The Matrix Reloaded, so he's kind of a big deal.
No, I've seen him before. I can't remember where. Last Airbender.
He was in The Lost Empire. Okay, I think I was thinking that's a different movie. I'm thinking of. Yeah, so this is a solid. I mean, these movies always have like really big names. Like, I kind of wish sometimes though that animated movies would like pick the really good voice actors instead of going for like the big names, because there's are people who are like lifelong voice actors who don't get recognized, and I feel like since they have more experience in the art, these big movies should go to them, but they have to pick these like huge Hollywood stars to like be the big roles, because it's the same thing. Like if if somebody's like sort of on the fence and they see like Jack Black's in the movie, they might watch it.
Well, yeah, and it's also
So
like
it's sort of a business thing.
we're gonna listen to a voice. Let's listen to a voice we're familiar with.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I'm saying like if you're looking from a purely talent standpoint, you might like these people might not be the most talented
That's true.
people in the
It's different
voice,
than real
because
acting.
they're not voice actors by trade. They might
Yeah.
do some voice acting, but it's not their main career.
Jack Black he's done a lot of stuff in
Yeah, now
animation.
some actors have become so well versed that they can do both, and I think most of the time they do it really well. So I don't really know.
I
but
saw on the-
I just kind of wish that sometimes the voice actors who spend their whole careers being unknown would get a little bit of recognition.
True. I saw on the cast list Kyle Gass plays one of the pigs in the town, and he's the other Tenacious D person with Jack Black.
Oh yeah.
So they're like the two people in Tenacious D along with some other people. Like they're the two main singers. So
So this is like so did Jack Black start under Tenacious D, or is that after he was like famous that he started it?
I can't
Because
remember.
didn't like so Andy Samberg was in The Lonely Island, so there's like a
Yeah.
fair amount of like comedian actors who started out like or sort of gained like a following through doing sort of like joke band things.
I can't remember. I honestly can't. I
It
know.
started
I
in
know it
two-
was early.
Yeah. 2006 is what I'm seeing, so it would have been in the middle of their career, but still cool. Still cool.
Yeah. When did School of Rock come out?
2005, I think.
Okay.
It's a movie I have not seen that I really want to see because I mostly hear really good things about it, and it has Jack Black in it.
So Jack Black in the early 2000s was like, "Hey, let me become an actor and let me."
No, it's actually 2003.
Oh, okay.
Let's look at Jack Black.
So he's like, "I'm already an actor. Let me start a band too."
Yeah, I mean that does happen a lot. Jack Black's definitely a very specific role most of the time. High Fidelity, is that a? No, I don't know what that is. Oh, he was in King Kong, so he's been in some serious movies too. I've heard of this movie. This is like a dark comedy, Bernie. But again, I haven't watched all of these, so sorry that I haven't watched every single Jack Black movie. I feel like I've failed the audience.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, I've only seen a couple of their movies. I feel, it just breaks my heart.
You have to see every.
Even
movie
though I
done.
don't think I should. Really, I live a really sad life if I measure my value in the amount of art I've consumed, because that's like the easiest thing to do in the entire world, is to consume something. Like, I'm not
I've
adding
eaten
anything.
the most hamburgers. Is that good?
Yeah, like
No.
no, it's really not. It's probably really bad for you. Like you're probably gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah. So don't watch all these movies.
So
This
I
is Ben's
actually-
third movie today.
It actually maybe should give me a sense of pride that I haven't seen. Oh wait, can't be prideful. Gotta be humble.
Yeah. Build your kingdom.
Build my
I'm
kingdom.
gonna keep saying that every time.
I think sometimes my kingdom is built around feeling like I'm really open, so that way people can't find a flaw in me because I'm so open, even if there is.
Let
a
me put
flaw.
my problems in front of you so you can't point them out.
Right. Yeah, like my self-awareness is my flaw. And then maybe it's that I think I'm so self-aware and I'm really not. And so when I say that I'm self-aware, it's like my insecurity because I'm afraid that I'm not self-aware. That's like my ultimate fear.
I think you get pretty close.
Yeah. So, but now it gets really like weird because I just get into so many meta levels of thinking about things, I think. Because so many times on the podcast I'll just like acknowledge something and then I'll acknowledge I'm acknowledging it, and then now I'm acknowledging that I'm acknowledging it.
And you're thinking like, why?
And I'm like, I'm just in an endless trap here. Like I'm going to keep going down this path of acknowledging things.
You should be an
And
astrophysicist.
it never ends. Like
or a philosopher.
it never begins, it never ends. It's just there.
All right.
Okay.
Style.
Really good style.
Yeah, I think it goes well.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even notice it's animals. I mean, like you know they're animals. They have different styles and different voices, but like you like forget, like when you hear Kung Fu Panda and someone were to describe the movie, you wouldn't hear that they were animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would say townspeople.
Yes.
So
That's actually true. That's a good point.
I don't know. I think it fit well with the style of the animals and Kung Fu. The whole town like we're being revolved around these ancient mystic arts types of things, and then it getting disrupted and an old foe comes back. It just kind of all fits together.
I agree. And the coloring is really good. I think there's a good color palette to this movie. Works very well.
A lot of sunsets, sunrises.
Anything that's set in this sort of Chinese mystical thing is, I think, tends to be pretty cool, especially when you do it animated because you have a lot of different options that you can
you don't
use.
have to wait for the actual sun to rise. Ugh.
Right.
The actual sun.
So, oh, man, that
So
would be
hot.
difficult. Yeah.
But not in a good way.
But not in a good way. So, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't really think about the soundtrack that much.
Everybody loves kung fu fighting.
Yeah, other than that.
If it's not memorable, that takes points off already.
Yeah, but it makes, and you know it's solid if it's not memorable because you're not thinking, oh, this is horrible the whole time. Like, you know it's bad if you think that it's bad. But if you don't notice it, it's at least mediocre.
Yeah, that's a good way to measure how good a score is if you remember it.
Yeah. So if you remember it for a positive thing or a negative thing, if you don't remember it, it's like a 5. Like just what it does its job.
Let's give it a 5. The total for this movie is a 5 because it's the only one we ranked. Wow, that's pretty low.
I gave this movie an A-.
Is it weird if I give it a B+?
Well, actually, I give it a B+ because I'm too insecure to leave it at an A-.
I don't know. I feel like it's a B+. Like, just
No,
think of like a B+.
I think you're right. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So
you already rated it on Letterboxd?
Yeah, I always rate things right away.
We just watched this movie and we started recording.
I change my rating sometimes.
Okay.
Over time, because sometimes I need
a quick reviewer.
I need to settle. I have my initial review, and then I have my 2 weeks after the movie. I think about it, and I'm like, my feelings differ.
Post-movie.
Tend to.
Partum.
Yeah. I actually think that's what's really interesting about movies. You can like change your opinion without even having to watch it again.
Yeah. But like it's just themes. So I guess the more you think out themes.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know a movie's good when I keep going and thinking about it and being like puzzled by something, and I just wanna ponder that thing. I don't necessarily want to rewatch it, but I just want to think about it. And I'm like, this is a movie that I like, obviously.
Yeah, you could do that to other movies, but some movies make you want to think through it. But the movies that you don't want to think through, like some movies that you've shown me, it's like very puzzling and very psychological, but I don't want to like think about it, you know. But the movie has to entice you to like think about me. Come on.
So for whatever way that I'm wired, it makes me want to think about it. But for some reason, Zach will latch onto some other kind of movie that maybe I don't like. Maybe I do like it.
Like I can analyze a Marvel movie in about 30 seconds because it's pretty straightforward. Not gonna
maybe
lie.
Maybe that's why you like Marvel, because you want to be able to completely analyze something in a short period of time.
No, I just I want to go to bed.
I'll stop trying to understand why you like Marvel so much.
It's great. Shang-Chi, September 3rd.
Black Widow. We are going to review Black Widow.
Yeah.
And we'll probably
next week.
Our schedule is going to be so weird. Like, actually, we may have already reviewed Black Widow by the time this comes out, because I'll probably push everything back.
Time warp. What are we in, Loki?
Oh, man. And you might already know the end of Loki by the time this comes out, actually.
Oh, man.
Yeah, probably.
So good.
When this was recorded, the next one that will come out is probably Luca, and then I have been putting off the Creep one, but that will probably be pushed back really far, and it'll just be like randomly. You won't probably really know it, but that one will have come out way after it was recorded. But
it's so weird, our timeline versus the audience timeline.
I know. I'm just acknowledging it now, and you're gonna be like, it's kind of cool because we're disorienting the audience. We're like, whoa, what's going on?
We should save it for October.
Yeah. Oh, we could actually. We have that option.
Yeah.
Because we could always just keep pushing it off. So.
That's what we do in life.
Really, yeah. One week I didn't have Creep, and I was just like, I'm just not. I just put off releasing the podcast, and then we just didn't release one for like 2 weeks.
That's okay, Ben. We all have different things going on, including you. Remember, your kingdom has to get.
I know.
pruned.
I was like, sometimes it's okay to not, put Movie Vault in the front because I have to work on this other thing.
Yeah,
I was probably not. There was probably times that I wasn't being productive, that I didn't do Movie Vault, but
like watching 3 movies today.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
But today was a weekend, okay?
Yeah, weekends we don't work. We know.
Yeah. And all I had to do was run. So. Yeah, and I
take that back. Okay. Don't tell them. They're gonna want us to quarantine from you.
That's true. It's a good point. It's just the cold.
Oh yeah, this episode also came out in the middle of March 2020. We didn't tell you guys that. We're
This
just
is
really
actually-
planning ahead.
This is actually the first Movie Vault podcast.
We never released it.
You know, we could just we could say that and try to convince people, and I don't like we might mess up somewhere, like slip up somewhere, but we might actually be able to legitimately make. I don't know whether I could go back and talk like I did in March 2020 though. Like,
that-
what would be the subtle differences?
We didn't start until we're almost a year in. We didn't start until like August.
Yeah, it was August.
So it's almost been a year. Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, 1 month. It's been 11 months. 1 month from now, we should do a 1-year party.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah. Happy birthday
Rent
to
out
the
a
Movie
theater.
Vault. Yes, that would be cool.
Oh.
Maybe that's what I know. We need to do something like that to really,
These are the things we
network
should
and-
be talking about off the
yeah.
podcast.
Exciting things might be happen,
When it's not
but
gonna
I
involve
wouldn't
you.
count on it.
It doesn't involve you.
Probably not. Especially if you live in another country. But we do appreciate our listeners who live in other countries,
Yeah.
even if you're not real. Even if you're just a bot or somebody using a VPN.
Hey,
we
out
still
of-
appreciate you.
Out of all of them, one of them is probably real.
Yeah. But I just hold on to that hope that there's that one person who's real who listened to us from another country. It was like, I really liked your episode on The Fast and the Furious, because if I'm going to be honest, that would be the movie that somebody from a foreign audience would listen to, because Fast and Furious is really popular worldwide.
True.
Cars and Vin Diesel and other things about Fast and Furious movies are just things that everybody in the world can just latch onto.
We can unite the world through Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet the other day that said, "Come on, the Fast and Furious gang should just fight the Avengers now."
Yeah, that's actually true. They build up to that point where they're basically, it's the same thing as the Avengers. There's not quite as many movies, but they build up such a big universe. And they're basically superheroes at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Vin Diesel's using a vine to swing his car.
Hobbs and Shaw had a legitimate supervillain who had powers, and the people who didn't have powers beat him. A spoiler alert.
No, Hobbs and Shaw won.
Who would have guessed?
Oh, come
I would-
on.
I would have thought they lost.
No. Oh man, I hate it when you spoil movies. Come on,
Okay, Britta moments with Britta.
Perry.
I think most of the plot holes are just the weird transition between him becoming like the plot hole is that he can train to be to be a kung fu master as fast as he does. Like that is a plot hole.
You said
That
this
can-
fat.
This fat. I mean, the subconscious. This fast. I mean, all their arguments about him being out of shape and not knowing anything about kung fu and needing years were legitimate. Like, there's no way he should have been able to actually do that.
Well, I think another plot hole is like they only spent like 6 minutes doing a montage of him training to become completely done with training.
That's true.
Like, and it seems like all he did was eat food
Yeah.
or try to.
And that was all of his training.
Yeah, it seems like one day.
I know. It's crazy. So, that's the main plot hole.
Yeah, it's kind of just like. a
Otherwise, they're
gaping-
just copying Star Wars, so there's not too many plot holes. And
Yeah, Star Wars is perfect.
Star Wars doesn't really have plot holes. Maybe their characters aren't always the most interesting, but
Yeah, maybe like we have a sibling kiss each other, but like
yeah.
that's,
Oh yeah,
we
I always
fix
forget
that
about
later.
that.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, we decided to make them siblings after we had them kiss, so we couldn't take it out, but like our intentions were good.
That's so weird to me, and nobody talks. I mean, people talk.
Yeah,
about
I don't
it,
really
but not
think
enough
about. I don't
people
really
talk
think about it that much. Like when I think about Star Wars, I don't think like, oh man, this movie has like an incest part.
But they never like address it.
Yeah,
They should.
They don't really. I feel like that's way more traumatic than they made it out to be in Star Wars, or it should be. If it's not traumatic, that's a problem.
Yeah.
On that note, stock market. I would you gotta invest in Jack Black.
$631 million.
Jack Black would be the highest rising stock, doing so many successful things now at this point. Maybe his most popular movies were behind him, but his overall being known and personality were still on the rise.
Jack Black is bigger than he is. Jack Black's personality, it just surpasses his roles.
Yeah, and Jack Black's name, I feel like having a name like Jack Black automatically makes you well known.
Memorable.
It's a very memorable name. Like even before I knew who Jack Black was, I knew the name Jack Black. Now there might have been somebody else named Jack Black in the past
There's
who was
probably
famous.
lots of people in the world named Jack Black.
That's true. It's not. It's kind of a common name, but it's a good name to have if you're the one person well known in the world whose name is Jack Black, I guess. DreamWorks, I feel like you would have had to invest. Like, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Really?
No, probably not.
I think DreamWorks is the like so close to being as good as Pixar.
I was
Maybe
about to
not
say.
really even that close, but
no, not even close. You
No,
got
you're
Secret Life
right.
of Pets
You're
versus
right.
Nemo.
that's true.
Are you
No,
kidding
Secret
me?
Life of Pets of Illumination wasn't
Well,
it?
yeah, see, I don't even know DreamWorks. That's why.
DreamWorks is
Shrek
like
is good.
Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon,
Those are good.
Madagascar.
Okay, never mind. You're reminding me that these are good.
That's what I'm saying. They're like, but they're not.
They're not.
They
Pixar
don't.
level.
They don't deal with the level of subject that Pixar does that makes them appealing to both adults and kids. Like Pixar's just on another level, but they're still pretty good. They're pretty solid.
DreamWorks is mainly for kids, except for Shrek. Shrek's for adults.
Yeah, Shrek is for adults, but everything else is for kids. So that's what makes them different. Because I think Pixar is like really for adults, but they just make kids movies. Like they're pretending to be kids movies, so that like adults will bring their kids and their kids will be happy, and the adults will be like the ones who really want to be there. But like this is the opposite. Like
And
the
all
kids will want to go,
ages. Yeah.
and then the adults will be like happy because they can like sit through it, and it's not like completely below their ability, like below.
In fact, adults enjoy
intelligently.
it probably.
Probably. There's probably a lot of adults who would be like, Kung Fu Panda is my favorite movie. So-
Pixar is when all ages can buy movie tickets.
Exactly. And want to be there.
Yes.
This is not quite true of this, so it's not Pixar level. But I still might invest a little bit in it, but mostly in Pixar. Okay, so final round and conclusion. I conclude that Kung Fu is cool and that Poe is, you know,
There's a
pretty-
Poe in Star Wars too, Poe Dameron.
Oh yeah.
What?
So, oh man. Now Star Wars is borrowing from Kung Fu Panda.
They're like, you stole from us, we steal from you.
Yeah. Man, it's so sad. People are just stealing from each other all the time.
I know. What does the world come to?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We know that our next movie will be Black Widow, but like we said, it might come out before this, so it's not really the next movie.
So we don't know what time you're gonna hear this. It could be January 10th, 2025. We
We
don't
could
know.
have just like lost it and then somehow found it. Which reminds me, I should definitely remember to save this. I should always save before I start recording, but I never do for some reason, which is a really bad idea. Anyway,
You're right, actually.
yeah. Although technically, if you saved it and then started recording and the computer died,
Either way, yeah.
either way, it wouldn't really matter. You just have a file with the name,
Yeah.
because otherwise you have to like stop it periodically and then save it, because it won't let you save while you're recording.
But if it says my name, it's worth keeping.
That's true. I always thought that would be so sad. This has never happened, fortunately. I almost thought it happened with Creep until I remembered that we recorded it on David's computer. But, like, we go through a whole thing, and then I get back home and I realize that somehow it got deleted or not recorded, and we spent all that time and it just is gone.
It's
like
just
that's
an hour, Ben.
that's what
It's
makes
okay.
that's my biggest nightmare. Like more than getting cancer or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's that happening.
We really dream big here. Our nightmares are real.
Yeah. Our
Yeah.
nightmares are like legit threats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to close the vault. I don't know about you.
We got new carpet in the vault.
We did. We
Yeah.
got to address that. Address the carpet.
All right, now it's addressed.
The carpet has been addressed.
It is now time to close the vault.
Okay. Chop, chop, chop. Kung Fu fighting.